Hello Libra, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we're going to look at your energy, their energy, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, especially if you're a cross-watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Libra, let's take a look. As always, we're going to look at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. So let's see what we've got here. Libra, for your side of this connection. Follow your heart, friendship, reciprocity, and healing. I feel like just right out of the gate, it's very obvious that you value this person and this connection. And I feel like there's a part of you that, and a really big part of you that really wants this person to be in your life. However, I feel like you're wanting a lot more from this connection and from this person than they have been giving you, whether that is a certain level of commitment or effort or vulnerability, whatever it is. And I feel, because I'm looking at this healing card, and if you see, there's like half of this, right? Half of the heart is drawn here. And I feel like there's this extra burden that you've been carrying in this connection where, you know, you're putting in the work, you're putting in the effort, you're willing to commit, but it just feels like you're not getting that same level of commitment or effort in return. And I think that you've kind of gotten to this point where you're not sure basically how to proceed, because I do feel, again, there is a strong value here for this person and for this connection. You know, with this friendship card, I feel like you value this person, you value what they bring to your life. But yeah, with the reciprocity, I feel like you're wanting that reciprocity. You're wanting more out of this, and you're trying to figure out what it really means to follow your heart in this way. And I think that things feel unfair. I feel like that's the best way to put it. Things feel unfair for you when it comes to this connection. Let's see what this person has going on. This person's energy toward you, Libra. Wild card. Yeah. See, I felt like we were going to experience something like that. Interference. I feel like there's one more we're needing. Unfinished business and drama. Oh boy. Okay. This person in general is a little bit all over the place. And I feel like there's their behavior, their decisions in this connection, like their presence maybe even in your life, is very unpredictable. And there's a reason for that. I don't really know what it is with this interference card. Maybe it's, you know, something outside of the connection. Maybe it's something within them. Maybe it's both. But I do very much feel like that keeps this connection, or ultimately this person, from being able to fully reciprocate, which then keeps the connection from being able to come together in a healthy way to fully reach that potential. And I think that, especially with this drama card here, I feel like this person, I kind of get this feeling that they thrive a little bit in chaos. So, any kind of healthy relationship requires a willingness to, face the hard stuff without running away from it. And I feel like this person doesn't really know how to face the hard stuff. They are very used to, running away from it. And I think that that is why things are so unpredictable when it comes to this person, is because, regardless of the feelings that they have, or regardless of what you feel that this could be, I feel like they're just kind of, I don't know, like, just really all over the place in this connection. And you deserve, healthy love is all about consistency. It's about trust, right? It's about knowing that that person is going to be there by your side no matter what, through any difficult time, or, difficult conversation, or, be willing to step up and be there when you ask for certain needs to be met. Especially if you're sitting here with the willingness to do the same, right? Like, you deserve the kind of love that you give here, Libra, regardless of what relationship we're talking about, whether it's, romantic, or, a friendship, or familial, like whatever the case is, you do deserve reciprocation. And it just feels like this person isn't capable of giving you that for some reason. Truth of the connection between Libra and this person. Breakups and makeups. Yeah. See, I could feel some sort of a cycle, because I feel like this person is very in and out. It's like there's this recurring theme of this, whatever is happening right now. This person's wild card. It's like they've been so unpredictable that it's almost like it's predictable. It's like they're consistently inconsistent. Yeah, because there's deja vu, literally. It's like, well, we've been here before. I've experienced this before. Again, I feel like it's hard, because I do feel like you do value what you do receive from this person. But you deserve more than bare minimum. And it's important for you to know that you're not asking for too much when you're asking for reciprocity. When you're asking to be loved and chosen and valued and respected to the same extent in which you love, choose, value, and respect. Like, you deserve that. And I do feel like you know that. I just feel like you really, really wish that it could be them, which makes sense. I think that when we see potential, obviously we're going to want to bring that potential into fruition. But let's see what else we've got here. Overall theme of this reading between Libra and this person. Feels like the biggest thing in this connection is that, so you didn't mean it with wrong time and place, is that the timing never seems to fully align. There's always something in the way. There's always something that's leading to this person's like distance, I guess, or response that leads to things falling apart. But But there's something about this, because then you have I need to reach out with it is for the highest good. So there is a pattern here of forgiving, and this is forgiving and reliving. That's what I hear. And it's not that you shouldn't forgive other people when they do things, right? But say, you set a boundary with someone and you say, I need more consistency, or I need, whatever it is, vulnerability, effort, commitment, or else I can't do this anymore. And then, they don't provide you with that. So you say, okay, I get it. You walk away. But then they come back and you fall back on your own boundary because they still aren't able to provide you with what it is that you deserve. When we keep allowing people to give us less than what we deserve, we start to tell them that no matter what, we will always be around. And I feel like this is about, there's a little bit of a need to take your power back from this person in this cycle in a way. Because I do feel like they have quite a bit of power over you right now. Not in the sense that you're powerless, Libra. In fact, I feel like it's quite the opposite. But I do feel like it's like they're your kryptonite in a way. It's like you have strong boundaries until it comes to this person. Like you have high standards until it comes to this person. And like I get what that's like, and not that you have low standards or anything like that, but I just feel like this person specifically is your kryptonite in a way. And I feel like that typically means that there is something karmic going on. Doesn't necessarily mean this is a karmic connection. I'm not really big on the whole label thing anyway, but it can typically mean that there is some sort of a cycle or a pattern or something that needs to be addressed and ultimately broken. But let's see, Libra, what we've got. You have reciprocity with follow your heart. This is for Libra's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Whoa. Yeah, see? Okay. Nope. Okay. So 3 of Wands, Ace of Wands in reverse, 9 of Swords, 2 of Cups in reverse, Page of Swords. Okay. And then the Star. 7 of Swords here. So there is, like I hear, anxiously waiting. There's a lot of anxiously waiting on this person to change, to choose you, to commit. And I feel like this has been a theme in this connection when it comes to this person, especially because I feel like what you're wanting is reciprocity, right? But it feels like every time you speak up or you're honest about that with the Page of Swords, it leads to some sort of separation or distance with the 2 of Cups in reverse. And I think that a big part of that is because I do feel like this person tends to withdraw. And I think that one of the biggest things that you're needing to know is that this connection isn't the limit of what you are capable of experiencing in love. because I do feel that there's a pretty strong attachment to this person. Oh no. And this connection. And I think that that stems from the potential that you do see. Again, you value this person, right? You value this connection. And when we value somebody, when we value a connection, when we value a person, of course we want to make it work, right? When we love and we care about, somebody, a lot of times we might even be willing to settle for less than what we truly need or truly deserve, because it's them, and we'll take what we can get from them, especially because with this this Three of Wands, I do feel like this person pushes you out of your comfort zone in a lot of ways, and maybe you feel like things that you've maybe never felt with another person before. So it's very strong, and it's got a strong pull, and I think that that's what makes it a little bit like where a lot of the anxiety comes from when it comes to this connection, is because there's this fear that if they don't reciprocate, or if they don't choose you, commit, whatever the case is, that you're not going to be able to have anything better. That it's this person or nothing. That it's this person or you'll never be able to, experience anything as good as it could be. And that is not true. There is no one person in this world that holds the key to our happiness and to our ability to experience the love we truly deserve, except for us. I see this a lot in the twin flame concept. When we label people as a twin flame or a soulmate, we start to believe that our happiness lies in their hands. That if they don't heal, if they don't grow, if they don't choose us, if things don't work out, that it means that we're never going to be happy. We're either going to settle or, be alone. And I will say, and if you've watched my channel for a while, you know this, but I have a bit of a bone to pick with the twin flame concept. I've been through a twin flame journey myself. I know the ins and outs of what it's like to experience, that kind of connection, that powerful pull, that painful mirroring, the triggering beyond anything like you've ever experienced before. And I know what it's like to so desperately desire somebody choosing you, valuing you, finally seeing how good things could be in those connections. But I've also learned that the purpose of those connections isn't actually about the person. It's not about the person. It's not about the relationship or your relationship to them. It's about your relationship to yourself and how they mirror that relationship back to you, and how that relationship with them is actually pushing you to heal that relationship with yourself. When somebody isn't choosing us, valuing us, loving us in the way that we deserve, there's typically a sign that in some way we are not loving us, choosing us, valuing us in the way that we deserve. And it's not to blame you or say that this is your fault, okay? The goal is empowerment, right? That's the whole thing, taking your power back in some way. And I feel like a lot of your power has been given to this person, understandably so. When we have strong feelings for someone, we kind of have a tendency to pour our potential happiness into the outcome of that connection. But that's where things get a little bit tricky, especially when you're dealing with somebody who is inconsistent and that you can't trust. And I feel like there's a need to take a deeper look at this cycle and figure out beyond a label, beyond the feelings that you have for them. And I'm not saying that they don't matter, but beyond that, what's really going on here, right? What keeps you coming back to a cycle that keeps breaking your heart? Because I feel like there's a need to address not what they can do to break this cycle so that things can finally work out, but what you can do to break the cycle so that you can receive the love that you deserve and desire, whether or not it's in this person. Because at the end of the day, you can have the love that you deserve and desire. And I think that there's a need to see this from a bit of a different perspective, because there's a bit of an anxious attachment here. And I know, there's a lot that goes into that. But that anxious attachment might cause you to sacrifice what it is you really need and desire for the sake of the potential of this connection and what things could be with this person. And if you're sacrificing what you need and what you desire in any form, then that means that a situation isn't actually meant for you and isn't sustainable. And the universe will always remove you from spaces and places where you are self-abandoning. And man, are we getting deep right out of the gate, because that was a lot. So let's see what we've got here, Libra, with this person's energy toward you. Unfinished business with wild card. We focused a lot on your side of this, and I feel like there is a point to that too. This person's energy toward you. Unfinished business with wild card. The Hierophant in reverse. King of Wands could be dealing with a fire sign. The Fool. Sun in reverse with the Knight of Swords upright, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. You also don't have to be dealing with a fire sign. I kind of just gathered that this person might have a bit of a fiery personality. So you also have the King of Pentacles. It's in reverse though. 5 of Cups. Oh, and the King of Cups. So that's fire sign, earth sign, and water sign energy. Oh, but I don't like that. Okay. So I started out this person's energy talking about how they have a lot going on, and I stand by that. Page of Pentacles in reverse coupled with a Hierophant in reverse is a very telling energy, because it gives this sense of living very unconsciously. It's like there's a lack of awareness here, whether that's emotional, self-awareness, and the Page of Pentacles in reverse just straight up kind of gives an energy of like immaturity, like not being ready for something, having some growing up to do or that's needed. And I feel like that's where this Knight of Swords energy really comes from. I do feel like this person is very driven by ego with the Sun in reverse. I feel like they make decisions that make their ego feel good. And that can mean so many different things, but a lot of times what it does mean is they're making decisions that align with what they're used to. Because our ego, it's not to be demonized. Its primary goal is survival, and it literally just wants to keep us alive. But sometimes it does that by making decisions that doesn't actually lead us to what we desire, but leads us to what's familiar. And I feel like when it comes to this person, there is, or when it comes to their connection to you, I feel like you are someone that is very unfamiliar to them, especially if you're showing up with very genuine, unconditional love type of energy. I feel like this person doesn't really know what that's like, or what that's, what that experience is. So they're not able to value it, not because you're not to be valued, not because you're not valuable, not because they don't see your value. That's not what I'm saying either. But I feel like they're not able to really understand how rare the energy that you provide in this connection really is. And so because it's unfamiliar, I feel like it stirs up really uncomfortable feelings for them. And that's why they tend to run whenever either you speak up about needing more, or you're wanting a deeper commitment, or whatever it is, because I feel like it pushes them into a place of vulnerability that they don't really know how to handle. And that's not your problem, right? That has nothing to do with you. There's nothing you can do to not push this person away, because you should be vulnerable. You should be authentic. You should be clearly communicating your needs and desires. And if clearly communicating your needs and desires and being authentic and being vulnerable pushes somebody away, then that means you're pushing away somebody who isn't able to meet you where you're at. So this isn't me saying that you should have held back, or that you should hold back. This isn't me saying that you should accept less. This isn't me saying that you should tolerate, bare minimum whatsoever. In fact, this is me very much saying the opposite. And I feel like that's what taking your power back really is, right? But I think there's more to it, because I do feel like this person does genuinely care about you. I don't feel like they just are trying to screw you over. I don't feel like they're trying to take advantage of you. I feel like they have a very limited capacity to experience healthy relationships, or to be able to give and receive healthy love. And that stems from a lack of their healing, a lack of their awareness, a lack of their growth. And I feel like they have a lot. Well, to be honest with you, I feel like they're missing out on a lot in this connection. And I feel like you know that too. And I feel like you've been trying to show them that that's the case. But I said that this person thrives in chaos. And you showing up with very genuine, unconditional love is something that isn't very chaotic, right? It's peaceful. It feels a little bit like safety. And when people are used to chaos, when they're used to unhealthy love, they will choose it over healthy love. They will make the decision to chase after what is inconsistent and what isn't aligned with them fully. And I want you to think about the mirror there a little bit. So there's a lot that is going on with this person, right? There's a lot that, they're not making healthy choices in this connection. They're very inconsistent. They're, I don't feel like they're very trustworthy. And I think that you're looking at that from this perspective of like, well, but I've never felt like this before. And if they aren't able to be those things, then that must mean that I'm truly missing out on what could be. And that right there is what keeps you stuck in the cycle of dealing with their inconsistency, is because you are very, you are stuck in this belief that it has to be them in some way. And trust me when I say I understand it. But I also feel like Spirit is asking you to look at what it is that you're really needing when it comes to relationships, and asking yourself in a very genuine, very real way, is this person capable of giving you what it is that you need? I think that you spent a lot of time wondering why you're not good enough for them, and why, they won't commit to you, and why they won't choose you. And instead, I encourage you to shift that and ask, are they good enough for me? Are they capable of making me feel the way that I desire to feel on a consistent basis? Do they make me feel safe? Do they make me feel chosen? Or is my nervous system used to inconsistent love? And is this just a familiar pattern? Because when we start to dive into those deeper truths, we start to open ourselves up to more healing, which will eventually lead us to safe, healthy love. And safe, healthy love is a good thing. It's where you're able to truly find your home within yourself, because you're not just chasing inconsistency, you're sitting in a place of consistent safety. And if somebody isn't providing that to you, then there's something going on there. I once heard somebody say that a relationship without emotional safety is not a relationship, it's an attachment. And when that's the case, we have to dive deeper into where the attachment is stemming from and what we can do to heal that, so that we aren't looking for love in people who are inconsistent. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Libra, I get it, okay? I used to both be the inconsistent person, and I used to be the person that chased after inconsistent people. And the reason why I, can understand this perspective isn't because I think that people who are inconsistent don't deserve to be loved, because everybody deserves love. But I can also understand, from having been somebody who was very inconsistent and who didn't make healthy decisions in relationships, and who did do harm to people who loved me well in the past, that I didn't change because somebody kept loving me hard enough and choosing me and showing me how valuable they were. I changed because enough people said, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And I don't want to, I love you and I care about you, but this is harming me. And that's what really made me realize that the way that I was acting was not okay. It was never intentional. It was always coming from a very wounded place that doesn't make it okay. And trust me, I've spent a lot of time healing a lot of shame around it. But after I did kind of open myself up to that, I became this person who saw people who acted that way and was like, no, listen, I get why you're doing that. You're wounded, you're hurting, you're insecure, whatever the case is, but you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be like that. We have, and so I get it, okay? I get what it's like to love someone and have empathy for somebody who doesn't know how to love well, but coming from the perspective of being on both sides, and especially being the person who didn't know how to love well and who hurt other people in the process, I promise you that the best thing you can do for both you and them is to set boundaries and to make sure that you are protecting yourself first and foremost. But I don't know where that came from. Somebody needed to hear it. I'm going to hop on over to the extended. You have deja vu with breakups and makeups. We're going to dive deeper into this, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Thank you so much, Libra, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Libra.